and welcome to another episode of Other Items of Interest. I'm your host, Jack Zablocki. On today's show, we have lots of bad people doing bad things. As well as that, we have the World Beard and Mustache Competition and funeral strippers. You know you want one at your funeral. We'll learn how to get one. Hint, go to China. All that and more on today's Other Items of Interest. Florida man right out of the gate. Florida man arrested for playing basketball naked. He told cops he had a good reason. And a good reason it was indeed. A Florida man was arrested on an indecent exposure charge after he was spotted playing basketball in the nude at a public park. A worker with Candyland Park in Longwood called authorities after spotting a naked man walking around. Responding officers found Jordan Anderson on the basketball court shooting hoops. When asked why he was in his birthday suit, as per the report, the suspect said that playing basketball without any clothes enhances his skill level. The 29-year-old unemployed man was arrested on charge of indecent exposure of sexual organs. It's a weird charge, the way it's worded. And he was taken to the John E. Polk Correctional Facility on $500 bond. Alcohol and drugs were not involved, said the affidavit. Why would they be involved? He was doing an innocent thing like playing nude basketball. You don't need alcohol and drugs when you're doing nude basketball. It could be dangerous. This article was brought to us by the MiamiHerald.com. Slowspeed tractor chase ends with arrest in Rancho Cordova. A man was arrested Friday night after leading deputies on a very low-speed chase in his tractor through Rancho Cordova, the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office said. A call came in around 9:20 p.m. about a man erratically driving a tractor on Sunrise Boulevard and White Rock Road. That's a hard one to say, because you want to put all your R's as W's, White Rock Road. That's not what it's called. When deputies tried to contact the man, he refused to pull over and kept driving, prompting the slow-speed chase. About 20 minutes later, the man pulled over, traveling barely a mile. The man was then arrested. No one was injured and no damage was reported in connection with the chase. Alcohol was possibly a factor in the case, the sheriff's office said. The incident is under investigation. That seems like the very wrong vehicle to take on a chase of any kind. I think you can walk faster than a tractor. Why did one of the cops just get out and jump on the tractor? I don't know. There's a lot of unanswered questions. That's why it's under investigation right now. They're trying to get the answers, which we won't have. We'll never hear about this again. The end. From Pittsburgh.cbslocal.com. Man charged with flushing his grandparents' ashes down the toilet held for court. This one's kind of sick. A man accused of flushing his grandparents' ashes down the toilet was held for court Monday. 33-year-old Thomas Wells of Pittsburgh tried to hide his face from KDKA's camera and had no comment Monday following a preliminary hearing before District Magistrate Eugene Riazzi. He ordered that Wells be held for trial on 2 counts of abuse of a corpse and a single count of criminal mischief. The incident that led to his arrest happened at his mother's home. She told police that her son was staying at her home for a brief period of time, but they had a confrontation and she wanted him out. She told McKeesport police all he wanted to do was smoke marijuana and drink alcohol. Wells' mother said that after her son left the residence, she found out through a relative that he flushed the ashes of her late mother and father down the toilet. She said she kept the ashes in a box in a bedroom where she had set up a memorial. After learning the ashes were missing, she said she asked her son about them and he denied doing anything wrong. But then, she got a text message from him. According to the criminal complaint, the text read, "Yup, and as soon as you die, you'll be in the shitter, you bitch." Oh my God. No trial date was set. I'm shocked and appalled. You can hear it in my silence. You don't talk to your mother that way. What's wrong with you? From bad sons to bad fathers. This comes from OregonLive.com. Forest Grove man stole daughter's cookie sale money to pay for erotic massage. Oh boy. Forest Grove man stole $700 his daughter earned selling Girl Scout cookies. $700 worth of Girl Scout cookies she sold. That deserves an applause. Or is that normal? I don't know. I'm not a Girl Scout. He used that money to finance an erotic massage and staged a burglary at his home to cover up the theft, authorities say. Man, the guy kept digging himself a deeper hole, it looks like. Brian David Couture was sentenced Monday to 18 months probation, 80 hours of community service, and restitution as part of a plea deal, according to the Washington County District Attorney's Office. He was also hit with a $100 fine, prosecutors said. Couture initially told authorities someone had broken into his home in the 1000 block of Wilhelmina Avenue and assaulted him. Officers found the home had been ransacked and saw blood strewn about. Couture had injured himself, and the blood was almost certainly his, said Deputy District Attorney Thomas Bellisu? Man, I hate these names. I hate all these names. Everybody should be Smith. Johnson. I don't know any other easy ones. Couture's work laptop was also damaged, and about $700 was missing from a jar holding his daughter's cookie earnings, according to prosecutors. Investigators found inconsistencies in his story and challenged it. Couture eventually told police he stole the money to pay for the erotic massage and then faked the robbery when he realized he couldn't explain the missing funds, according to prosecutors. That's pretty low. I mean, stealing from your kid is pretty low in the first place, but $700 worth? Oh. I hope he pays it back. I hope his daughter understands. That's going to be awkward, huh? And this rounds off our trifecta of shitty people. Man sorry he urinated on memorial to boy who died of cancer. I was even considering not doing this story, but it's so outlandish that I had to. A man caught on video while urinating on a park memorial marker that honors a 9-year-old boy who died of brain cancer says he made a huge mistake and wants to apologize to the boy's family. Police say Brian Bellis of Egg Harbor urinated on Egg Harbor. That sounds like an interesting place. Anyway, he urinated on the memorial while his friend Daniel Flippin of Hamilton created the video. Both 23-year-olds face charges. Hamilton police say a family friend saw the video on social media and notified Christian Klopp's relatives. Klopp died in 2012. The relatives say they don't know either man. Bellis told ABC News he was drunk and he didn't know what he was doing. Bellis' father told the press of Atlantic City that he fired his son from the family plumbing business. Good on him. Volunteers disinfected the memorial after learning what happened. And good on them. Good on everybody except the assholes. From UPI.com, World Beard and Mustache Competition begins in Antwerp, Belgium. This is always exciting. It's every 2 years. Let me just read the article. How about that? I'm so excited about this. I don't know why. I don't even have a beard. I don't care to have a beard. But what these guys do are pretty cool. The biennial 2019 World Beard and Mustache Championship got underway Friday in Antwerp, Belgium. Sponsored this year by Snoren Club Antwerpen, also known as Mustache Club of Antwerp in Dutch, the event draws beard and mustache enthusiasts from around the world for a 3-day convention and contest. Friday's events included a ladies' competition with categories for a realistic and creative expression of artificial beards and mustaches. Participants will visit the Antwerp Zoo on Friday. And the World Beard and Mustache Association, organized in 1990, is the governing body and hosted the first event in Holten, Germany. Since 2001, it has been an every 2-year competition visiting Brighton, England, Anchorage, Alaska, Trondheim, Norway, Stuttgart, Germany. This one I don't know how to pronounce. Leogang, Austria. Just Leogang. And in 2017, Austin, Texas. There are 3 brackets of facial hair under consideration in competition: mustache, partial beard, and full beard, and each has several categories for judges to score. Really, the article is just an announcement of the contest, but up on our show notes on our website, otheritemsofinterest.com, there's an extra link for this article to the, I think, Daily Mail, which has tons of pictures of all these weird beards and mustaches. Really check it out. It's fun. From newshub.co.nz, world's top UFO hunter Stanton Friedman dies without ever seeing one. A man who spent decades investigating UFOs, convinced they were real, has died without finding solid proof. Stanton Friedman was a nuclear physicist with a background working on aircraft, rockets, and power plants. But he had a keen interest in aliens and UFOs, and in the 1970s led the first civilian investigation into the 1947 Roswell incident. That work culminated in 1997 book Crash at Corona. Who wrote this? The work culminated in the 1997 book Crash at Corona, the definitive story of the Roswell incident, which included evidence from more than 100 witnesses to the world's most infamous alleged UFO crash. According to Friedman, 2 alien craft crashed that day in July 1947. The official story has always been that it was a top-secret balloon. Bullshit. Friedman called the supposed cover-up a cosmic Watergate. While he was convinced UFOs were being flown by real alien visitors, he died without ever seeing one himself, the Daily Mail reports. Most of the evidence he collected was based on U.S. government documents. For me, he will always be the greatest ufologist of all time, UFO Truth magazine editor Gary Heseltine told the Mail. He never wavered on his belief that some UFO were extraterrestrial in origin. I mourn the passing of a truly legendary man. Friedman was 84. His family did not disclose the cause of death. Search Stanton Friedman on YouTube. You'll find something of his. He's fun to listen to. He was a smart guy. Outlandish, a little bit out there, I don't know. Entertaining, definitely. I believe this one comes from a file under Nightmare Fuel. Firefighters battle ablaze in house filled with snakes. From WISTV.com. A group of firefighters faced the wild scenario of a flaming home filled with hundreds of snakes and other reptiles. Phoenix Fire Captain Captain Hawk, said firefighters were bit with the element of surprise when they responded to a house fire on Thursday. It was honestly like a movie, Hawk said. It really hit us that, we were walking around with snakes and lizards and everything else. Because so many reptiles were in the home, it changed how firefighters fought the blaze. Rather than fighting it from the outside, they took the riskier approach and battled it from inside to save as many reptiles as they could. There were literally firefighters that were fighting fire, squirting water on the fire, and guys next to them picking up snakes and putting them in buckets. We just knew that we had to do what we could to protect the animals and get the fire out, Hawk said. It's the kind of call Hawk said will leave a memorable mark. I mean, we see crazy stuff, and this was outside of the box crazy for us, he said. We were looking at each other going, this is crazy. I think they're trying to tell us that this was a little insane. I don't know. The Phoenix Herpetological Sanctuary is now caring for the reptiles that survived the fire. None of the snakes were venomous. Along with the reptiles, firefighters rescued a couple of dogs and cats as well. From ctvnews.ca, new product Mayochip has an unfortunate translation in Cree. Kraft Heinz has acknowledged an unfortunate translation of the latest buzzy condiment of pre-mixed mayonnaise ketchup that has reached Canada. Mayochip, which was a crowdsourced name, can mean something entirely different in some Cree dialects, according to linguists and Cree speakers. Arden Og, director of the Cree Literacy Network, said that around the community of Moose Factory in northern Ontario, the name can be heard as shitface. Mayochip means shitface. This happens to match the very vulgar English idiom for the extreme drunkenness, and so it begins to be used that way, at least around Moose Factory, said Og in an email. She said Mayo sounds like the Cree word, I'm going to spell it out here, Meywiwi, Mayochip, I assume, which means feces, while the second half sounds like eye, which in parts of northern Ontario is also used to mean face. Heinz spokesman Michael Mullins said the company has heard of the translation, which has caused a stir on social media. We have heard about the unfortunate translation of Mayochip and Cree, and the only thing we want our consumers, whichever dialect of Cree they speak, to have on their faces this summer is our newest condiment mashup, said Mullen in an email. Man, that quote really leaves a bad taste in my mouth, much like I'm sure this product would. This guy just swings it around to make it a commercial. Mayochip hit U.S. shelves last year after a viral Twitter campaign to choose a name for the condiment, and bottles of it have arrived in Canada this month and will continue to be sold while supplies last. The Cree translation of Mayochip was first shared on Twitter on May 16th by CBC radio host Wabegashig Rice. This is a name I've never heard before. I don't even care that I'm mispronouncing it. I'm going to spell it for you. You pronounce it to your closest friend, if you have one. I don't know. I don't mean to insult you. I'm sorry. Wabegeshig. Wabegashig. It's an interesting name, I'll tell you that. So the Cree translation of Mayochip was first. That name completely derailed me. I apologize. The Cree translation of Mayochip was first shared on Twitter May 16th by CBC radio host Wabegashig Rice, who cited Jonathan Solomon of Kashachewan First Nation. Some of these words get hard. Cree was reported as the most widely spoken Indigenous language in Canada in the 2016 census, with 96,575 speakers, although they are heavily concentrated in the prairies. Why does that matter? Ogg said that for Cree speakers looking to reclaim their language, this translation is a word they'll probably never forget. The following article comes to us from KMOV.com. Family Video expanding CBD sales to all St. Louis area stores. Instead of promoting the latest blockbuster movie, the marquee outside the Family Video store in Waterloo, Illinois, is all about CBD. Inside between the aisles of DVDs, there are stands of CBD products. The bombs, sprays, even chapstick are made with cannabidiol, which comes from the cannabis plant. It does not have THC like you'll find in marijuana. CBD products are not regulated by the FDA. Who cares? It's taken off like wildfire, said Tim O'Toole, regional manager of Family Video. He oversees 22 stores in Illinois and Missouri. He said some customers come in for movies and then check out the CBD products, while others come in for CBD and pick up a DVD too. He said the video company started adding their products to its hundreds of stores across the country after the chain's owner, Keith Hoogland, suffered a bad case of tennis elbow and treated it with CBD. Topical ointment that he put on his tennis elbow, he could not believe the relief he saw from the bomb, said O'Toole. With many other customers turning to Netflix or other streaming services for movies they used to rent, Family Video isn't shying away from capitalizing on CBD products to stay relevant. In the 80s and 90s, when video was booming, we used video to acquire real estate. We're about $1 billion real estate company across the country, said O'Toole. Brag much? So don't be surprised if those stores begin to carry more cannabis products. I think CBD is kind of a tiptoe to see how it would be received, O'Toole said. While Waterloo has become one of the chain's best performing stores for CBD sales, O'Toole says they aren't planning on pushing out the videos just yet. We still feel like there's need in a niche market. There's that nostalgic feel for video, said O'Toole. Right now, those CBD products are already in all the Family Video stores on the Illinois side of the St. Louis region. They plan to have them in all Missouri stores by June 1st. I've said it before that pot's going to be in everything, infused into all foods and drinks. I mean, not everything, but you can get pretty much whatever you want with pot infused. Now seeing stuff like this happen, it's going to be sold everywhere as well, which I say good. Televangelist show sells $45 Trump coin as point of contact to God. From the Hill. The Jim Bakker Show, recently promoted a coin decorated with President Trump's face as a point of contact with God. Jim Baker, if you don't know, is a televangelist. He was in a lot of trouble in the 80s, I believe it was the 80s. He was married to someone named Tammy Faye Baker. Go search her out. She's a trip to watch. She's passed on since, but she was nutty. Jim Baker, he's a scumbag, though, as you can maybe tell from this article. And I'd just like to point out, during the Catholic Church's reign, a long time ago, when they didn't have such a good image, they would sell pretty much tickets to heaven to all the poor people to take the last bit of money. And this is similar to that. In the viral clip of the promotion, evangelical author Lance Wallnau described the $45 coin as a means for believers to establish a point of contact with God. When I asked the Lord why the coin, he said, "Oh, this guy he talks directly to God. Sweet." When I asked the Lord why the coin, he said, "Because when you take the coin, it's a point of contact," Wallnau said in the clip, which was shared on Twitter by Right Wing Watch. Right Wing Watch monitors and exposes the activities of radical right political organizations. So your faith is being released with a million other believers to pray protection and peace and wisdom and counsel over the President of the United States and over his family, he added. How do you get to this point in life? It's our point of contact every day, Wallnau continued. When you see it, remember God put something in your hand that you have a role in. He went on to say, that's why we got to pray, because they think we're crazy, but we're actually the sane ones. That's something a crazy person would say. We got to pray, he added. The teaching that is here, this coin is a point of contact, this 24-karat gold-plated coin. Wallnau then shifted to the 2020 presidential election, saying, we got 16 months. The battle for the future of America has already started. This person is making me nervous. The coin depicts a photo of Trump alongside King Cyrus, the founder of the First Persian Empire, and includes text reading, the 70-year decree, and Cyrus Trump proclamation. Last year, Wallnau referred to Trump as modern-day Cyrus, saying at the time that America is going to have a challenge either way. With Trump, I believe we have a Cyrus to navigate through the storm, according to Vox. V-O-X, not Fox with an F. So there's a lot of crazy in that article right there. A lot of delusional thinking. I like it. Good times. From independent.co.uk, China vows to crack down on funeral strippers. That's right, funeral strippers. China has launched a fresh crackdown on funeral strippers. The Ministry of Culture said it would target obscene, pornographic, and vulgar performances at funerals and weddings. It followed reports in the state-run Global Times newspaper about roaring crowds applauding and cursing as women performed funerals. Who's cursing at a funeral? Who's cursing at a stripper? What the hell? The tabloid claimed that they sauntered into the crowd and rubbed men's crotches while occasionally reminding them not to take pictures. The Culture Ministry set up hotlines to offer monetary rewards for those who report funeral misdeeds in 19 cities in Henan, Anhui, Jiangsu, and Hebei provinces. Sounds like I knew how to pronounce those. Some rural communities in China believe hiring performers can increase attendance at funerals, with high attendance seen as a way of honoring the deceased. How would they know? In a bid to show off their disposable income and boost numbers, some households pay out more than their annual incomes for strippers, but also actors, singers, and comedians, the Global Times reported. Nothing like a good comedian at a funeral. Beijing first banned funeral strippers in 2015 after 2 cases where exotic dancers staged obscene performances. At the funeral in Hebei province, 2 strippers wearing revealing clothes danced on a stage at a public square in our village at night, an eyewitness said at the time. Authorities also arrested 6 exotic dancers at the funeral of an elderly resident in Handan. 5 people were detained in Jiangsu in 2006 for obscene performances following striptease acts at a farmer's funeral where 200 people were said to have attended. I don't know, maybe it works. Maybe a stripper gets your attendance up. One expert quoted in the Global Times report partly attributed the practice to fertility worship. In some local cultures, dancing with erotic elements can be used to convey the deceased wishes of being blessed with many children. Huang Jingzhang, a university professor, said. That sounded silly the way I pronounced it, but I tried my best. I don't take the performances as trash of traditional rural culture. It has an inheritance of local civilization, he added. Rather than simply decrying them, it is more important for the authorities to provide the rural people with finer cultural products. The most sane person we've had on the show all day. Someone speaking rationally. How about that? I don't know if I'd want strippers at my funeral. I mean, I wouldn't know. Like my parents, would I get strippers for their funeral? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. A little tasteless. And that's the end. That's it. Thanks for visiting with us. This has been Other Items of Interest. I've been your host, Jack Zablocki. If you want to visit us online, you can find us at otheritemsofinterest.com. You can email us at otheritemsofinterestpod@gmail.com. And you can visit us on Twitter at Other Items. We'll see you next week. And we'll miss you. Bye-bye.